Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peter Likes Books. It's that time again. It's that time of year again, where we discuss the best and the worst books of the year. So I am going to do a video today where I discuss my worst 5 reads of 2017. And what's really interesting is that most of these books that I talk about over and over and over again that I cannot stand, like Woman in Cabin 10, or the other one that I shall not mention, it's interesting because I thought I had read them this year, but I had read them last year. That is what a lasting image a horrible book can have on you, right? So you just need to get rid of it. You need to get it out. You need to sage the bookshelf. So anyway, but I went through my list. I went actually through my Goodreads list. By the end of the new year, I will have read 69 to 70 books. And my goal was 100, and I'm going to set it at 100 again next year, 100 or maybe 110, I don't know. I'm thinking about setting it for 101. Wouldn't that be so funny? Although I don't like off numbers like that, but if I set it for 101, because it would be like more than I set it for this year, you know what I mean? But anyway, 69, 70 books is good, I think, still. I mean, it's not a contest, or is it? Is it a contest? Anyway, sometimes I go to these booktubers that I love, like Dylan the Reader 5, and they've read like 400 books in a year. I'm like, do you ever leave your bedroom, or do you just read 24 hours a day? Because I'm kind of jealous. Like, I would love to just have that much free time. And still people are like, oh my God, how do you read that many books in a year? And I'm like, I don't know, a lot, I love it. It's my favorite thing. So anyway, I just went through all the books that I had read on Goodreads, and I just picked out all of the ones that I was like, yep, that was crap, yep, that was crap, yep, that was crap. Some of them I gave 4 stars to, some of them I gave 2 stars to. Actually, I don't know if I gave any 2 stars. I was really fair with stars this year. Next year, I'm telling you, okay, I'm out for blood. I'm coming for some 1 and some 0 stars. Is there such a thing as a 0 star? No. If you wrote a book, I'm giving you a star, okay, period. I don't care how crappy it is. Next year, I'm coming for some 1 and 2s, okay, so just be ready. I have put them in order from 5 being the least of the most problematic books all the way to the number 1. And some of these I don't remember real well, but I remember why I didn't like them, which is interesting, right? So number 5, drum roll please, is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I know you guys are like, how could that end up on your worst list? Well, it did. I thought it sucked, and I thought it was like creative, kind of like, what's interesting to me is that I don't read a lot of that, okay? And so like my goal had been to read a lot of like fantasy, right? And world building. If this is like the best of the world building, I don't want to read the rest of it. I'm just going to be real honest, okay? Give me a good contemporary any day. I don't like, reality is where it's at for me, okay? I don't need these world building things that are, I don't know, it's just not that interesting to me. So is that like the best? I mean, so many people have talked about it. I'm just like, this is where you lose subscribers on BookTube, because people are like, you didn't like Six of Crows, unsubscribe. Isn't that so funny that we do that? I don't do that ever. Okay, here are my issues with it. I understand it's a duology, but like, why? I don't know. Like, I didn't go into it knowing it was a duology. I knew that there were 2 books, but I didn't realize that I had to read the second book to understand what happened in the first book. Like, I really thought, so I listened to it on Audible, and I was getting to the end of the first book, and I was like 30 minutes out, and I was like, there's no way they can tie this up in 30 minutes. Are you serious? Like, oh, so now I have to read the other book too. I was pissed. I was so bad. So number 5 is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I am going to read Crooked Kingdom. Everybody tells me it's really great. Everybody tells me that when you read it, like the duology makes a lot of sense and it's fantastic. So I'm hoping that that's the case, and I'm hoping that I can come back and be like, oh my God, I love these books. And that might be the case. A lot of times in a series, very rarely, but a lot of times in a series, if I read other books that make sense in the whole context, that I'll be like, oh, I really like this. Does that make sense? But does that make sense? Okay. Number 4, All the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda. This book was pumped so highly as like one of the best mysteries of the year. And so it's about like this girl that goes missing, and it's like, later in life, and they come back and they try to solve it and all this kind of stuff. You guys, did you read it? It was not good. I feel like there was like 15 to 45 missing girl books put out this year, and not many of them were done very well, honestly. Like, I read a couple of them, and I just was like, oh, come on, this is so, like, if we're going to do the missing thing, like Paula Hawkins did Into the Water, which I thought was fantastic. But if we're going to do this whole, like, missing persons kind of thing, like, redo it. It's like, John Green wrote Fault in Our Stars, and then we got all of these, terminally ill books. And it's like, it becomes trite at some point. It's like, if you're a writer, are you not imaginative enough, to come up with something different? And, oh, no, my book is different. No, your book was almost identical. It's like almost identical. It's like Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl was just a worse copy of The Fault in Our Stars. And I don't disagree with me if you want, but that book sucked, okay? And I remember reading it, and I thought, there's three friends. He literally copied John Green's Fault in Our Stars, and I was like, and not well, and not done well either. If you're gonna do it in your own imaginative way. It's like, oh shit, John Green came out with that idea first. Well, scrap it. Come up with something else. You're a writer. So anyway, that Megan Miranda book, I did read it on the heels of another like mystery that was similar to it, and I think that it was by Paula Hawkins. And so, not Paula Hawkins, it was by Paula Trek-DeBoard, who is like one of my all-time favorite mystery writers. She writes like, I am talking so fast in this video. I'm hungry is the problem. I want to go, and I want to get my noodles and company, and I want to sit here, and I want to watch Chris Lee Knows Best, and that's it. So anyway, oh my God, I have never seen a Star Wars movie, except for when I was like 4, and my dad took me to the original one, and they're all free on demand, and that was going to be my goal this weekend, to watch all the Star Wars movies. So, stay tuned. You might get a little review of that. But anyway, I don't know. It did not work for me. I thought it was boring. I read it earlier in the year, so I don't remember a whole lot about it. I just didn't think it was well developed. The characters weren't well developed. It's interesting because right now I'm reading Katherine Anderson's A Christmas Story, which I'm like 75% into it, and we're not even to Christmas yet. So it's totally not even a Christmas book, so you can read it any time of the year. And it's interesting because the cover is very much like a Debbie Macomber book. And this book has been on my Goodreads sponsor. Like, it just keeps on coming up all the time. And I saw it at, like, Target and, like, Walmart and, like, Meijer. So I finally bought it because I wanted to read a Christmas book. And I'm like sitting there and I'm reading it, and I'm like, the character development is fantastic, okay? The story is interesting. It reminds me of a Larry McMurtry book, like Lonesome Dove. If you like that, you would love this book. The characters are really well developed. And I'm like, you cheapened this author's writing by slapping that stupid cover on the front of it and trying to act like it was a Christmas book when it wasn't. This book should have been called something else, like, I don't know, The Camp or something. It's fantastic. And, it's interesting to me that, like, this other crap out there, like All the Missing Girls, gets all this acclaim, and it's because of what? Because it's like a missing girl. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Next. Okay. Number 3, Windfall by Jennifer Smith. It was okay. I just wanted so much more. And here's the thing. It's about a girl, and she's got a crush on her best friend, of course. Isn't that always the case? And he, loves her as a friend, but doesn't really notice their love. And it's one of those, John Hughes basically capitalized on that in every movie that he made in the 80s, and I love them all. 16 Candles and Pretty in Pink and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I guess Jennifer Smith thought she was going to do it better. And so then, and I'll tell you what's interesting is that she has a short story in Summer Days and Summer Nights. It's almost identical to this. And I was like, you took your short story in Summer Days and Summer Nights and basically turned it into a longer novel, and neither one of them work for me, okay? I ain't down with this Jennifer Smith. I won't be reading anything more of her. So sorry, Jennifer, if you're out there, but I just didn't like it, okay? And it's about this girl. The idea is so cute that it should have been phenomenal. It's about this girl, and she buys her best friend on his 18th birthday a lottery ticket, and of course he wins, and it's like $300 million or something like that, and he goes crazy and spends all of it, and he even offers her half of it, and she's like, oh no, who, me? Girl, take the check. Come on, seriously? You don't even know if you're going to know that dude in 10 years. Let's be for real. I would have taken the money and been like, see ya, I'm going to Paris. But anyway, no, I wouldn't have been like that, but I would have been like, sure, I bought you the ticket. Yeah, that'd be nice. At least $1 million, Oh, no. She's so humble through the whole thing. She's humble to a point of being annoying. You know what I mean? Like when people are like that in books, you're like, nobody is that good, okay? Let's just be for real. So anyway, the thing about her is that, like, I noticed that at the beginning of the book, Jennifer Smith, like, she describes, like, this one guy, and she describes, like, his socks and his shoes and his sweater and his hair and everything, but then, like, other characters, she doesn't describe at all, and so it's like you get really engaged in certain characters, and then there will be, like, certain scenes when it's, like, snowing outside and it's beautiful, and they're describing, like, you know, what the trash looks like on the floor, and wouldn't it be nice to have a Diet Coke from McDonald's while you're watching this, but then, like, the next, she doesn't describe anything, and there's, like, no rhyme or reason to it. It's like she got real bored with her own book while she was writing it. Well, girl, you should have written another book. Okay, I'm ruthless in this tonight, aren't I? Okay, number 2, a girl walks out of a bar. This book by Lisa Smith. Okay, now, y'all know I've been sober since I was 22, okay? I have read almost every single drug or alcohol memoir that there is out there. If you want a really good one that is current, go read Blackout, Remembering the Things I Drank to Forget. It came out last year. It is the truth. It is fantastic. It is my experience. It is done so well. Dry by Augustin Burroughs is done so well. Drinking a Love Story by Catherine Knopf is done so well. There are incredible, incredible, incredible addiction memoirs out there, okay? A Girl Walks Out of a Bar by Lisa Smith, which I can't even hardly remember the title, was not one of them. It was so poorly done. There was like this whole scene when like, it was almost kind of like she thought it was a joke or something. Like there's this whole scene when her and her friend, she's like schedules an appointment to go into treatment. First of all, they're very bougie, okay? They're like upscale, very bougie, sitting around drinking wine, doing cocaine. Don't nobody want to read that story, okay? Like that's not endearing. She has there's no character to her whatsoever. And I don't mean like story written character. I mean like she has no character as a human being in the book, like before she gets sober. And I have to say, very little afterwards either. Like, it made me really question the narrative of the writer. Like, really, as a memoir. I remember when I was done with it, and I called my best friend, who was also sober, and she had read it too. And I said, what did you think? And she said, I didn't think much. Like, it didn't impact me in any way. You know, like, I didn't really understand what the point of the book was. And so, there's this part where she is like waiting around to go to treatment and they're all of them drinking. Like all these friends, I think she has a problem, kind of. Like they're drinking with her and then they take her to this hospital and then they're like, oh no, you can't stay there. It's this whole funny scene when like her friends are outside smoking cigarettes and she's trying to get checked into the psych unit and then she won't stay somewhere. So she has to go stay on a different floor because she's too good for it's just too much, you know? It's like, really? Like there's no endearing qualities. Like, I checked my ass into treatment, okay? I mean, it was there or jail. But I went, and it's not a funny ha-ha experience. Not for most of us. It's humiliating, it's embarrassing, it's shameful. You know, now on the other side, we don't feel those things, like shame, embarrassment. I mean, you know, sobriety is not about those things. But when you go in, you're going in like, I cannot believe this is happening to me. You know, now I can understand that the friends might be laughing and stuff like that, but I don't know that I would include that in the book. For people that have hope, like why would you do that? I did not, I thought it was problematic. And the worst book that I read this year, I'm so sad that this made my list, let alone the worst book. But when I was looking at my books, I was like, nope, this is the worst book I read this year, and that is Waking Gods by Sylvain Neuvel. And I read last year was Sleeping Giants. And you guys remember, it was on my best of books last year, okay? Sleeping Giants. I thought was so fantastically done. I loved it. I thought it was absolutely incredible. I mean, I thought it was so creative. I thought it was so imaginative. I thought it was so well researched. I loved it, okay? Sleeping Giants, fantastic. Waking Gods sucked. It made no sense. It went into directions. It was depressing. It was depressing as hell. It went in all these directions I didn't even know. Now, I will tell you this. This is interesting because a lot of times with me, like if I read a bad book, I won't read the rest of the series. Like Rick Yancey's The Fifth Wave series. I loved The Fifth Wave so much that that's the reason why I read the other two. But a lot of times if I read like the second one and it's horrible, I won't read the third one. With this one, I will, because I believe that Sylvain Neuvel has a better book in him. I really do. I think he was rushed. I think he was supposed to get a book out on time, and that's what he did. But this is not the book he should have put out. And I feel bad for him as a writer because it felt like a rush job to me, you know? And I think that a lot of times in the business of writing, you know, we hear all of us out there that are just like writers and we want to have our books out there and stuff like that. It's like we're not on timelines, you know. It's like, oh, I've been working on my book for 10 years, you know. But a lot of the business of writing is we need to have a book by April 1st to have it published by, you know, the early winter of 2018. And if you don't have a book out by then, per your contract. So it's like you're very much rushed to do this artistically. And I think that he got caught up in that. And I'm making a lot of excuses for Sylvain Neuvel because I really like this guy. I really like him as an author, and I think he's fantastic. I also think it wouldn't be bad for him to maybe just end this series and start coming out with something new. Some of what it was about, like Peter Klein, if you guys haven't read him, does science fiction, and his stuff is, I mean, fantastic. And it was like a bad, really bad version of that, you know? So I just want to say, somebody tweeted me out, I don't know who it is, but they went and they bought, they showed it because of my recommendation, My Best Friend's Exorcism. That book, I have not been able to get out of my mind since I read it. Like, if I had to make like one really fun, great recommendation before I make my video tomorrow, which is going to be the best of 2017, I definitely would put on there, and it may end up on there tomorrow. I don't know. I have to look at all my books. But I definitely would put on there My Best Friend's Exorcism. That book was just such a great read. Like, it wasn't funny ha-ha through the whole point, but enough of the pop culture references were good. The story was so fantastically written. I love the writer. I think that he is genius, and I can't wait to see what he has out next. So the reason I'm saying that is because that's gotten a lot of really bad reviews, and I think there's a lot of books out there that I don't. Do you ever? It's like watching like a pageant and you see the winner and you're like, did she just win? Like, did this just really happen? It can't be that way. You guys are probably like, no, we don't watch pageants. I love pageants. I've loved them since I was a little kid. I wanted to be Miss America. So anyway, I did though. True story. I had the Miss America paper dolls down in my basement. Don't think I don't. I have the year that Vanessa Williams won. Anyway, you guys are like, this dude is crazy town. So those are my least 5. I threw them on the floor. Here, we'll do a little recap in case you guys want to know what they are. Number 5, 6 of Crows. Number 4, All the Missing Girls. Number 3, Windfall. Number 2, Girl Walks Out of a Bar. Number 1, Waking Gods. Read them if you want, but I wouldn't suggest it. And tomorrow, I will be doing my best reads of 2017. Can't wait to see you guys. I love you. Bye.